Hello, and thank you for joining us for Let the Prophet Speak. The 2017 Healing the Whole Woman Conference Cruise was held aboard the Carnival Fantasy. We sailed from Mobile, Alabama to Cozumel, Mexico. Powerful women of God shared their life's journey during this cruise, and they admonished us to journey on. Cancer survivors journeyed on. Widows journeyed on. Divorcees journeyed on. People suffering from natural disasters journeyed on. People that encountered bankruptcies and foreclosures journeyed on. Individuals grieving the loss of loved ones journeyed on. Regardless of your past losses, know that God is with you on the journey. Journey on.
So we are journeying on whatever you are going through, and I can see in the spirit realm, in the natural and emotional. And many of you are on a journey, and your journey may have started 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It is not over. When you cross this hurdle, there is another. So you have to just keep journeying on and on and on. Whatever life offers you, journey on. Look at your sister in the gospel and say to her, journey on. Now do it deliberately. Use that prophetic finger, point to that person, and say to them, I have no idea where you are. Spiritually, physically, and emotionally. But I'm prophesying to you. Journey on. And kind of give them a push in the natural realm. Journey on. God is with you on the journey. So it's very, very important that we understand that. And to define the word journey, I said, Lord, since you are giving me this word, and I'm hung up on words, I like to find the definition. I like to use new words. Words thrill me in a strange way. Someone else, I like coffee, but words are thrilling for me. Journey is a long and often complicated process of personal change and development. Anybody been there? Yes. Anybody there? A long and complicated process. Can I see some hands? Anybody working on personal development? Yes. Having to reinvent yourself. Yes. Menopause made me reinvent myself. Having children made me reinvent myself. Yes. Getting married, I had to reinvent myself. When I stopped teaching and went into full-time ministry, I had to reinvent myself. So life is filled with swift transitions. It's filled with change. So we have to reinvent ourselves and good job. I'm so proud of you. Journey on. Journey, again, is a long and often complicated process of personal change and development. Long. Can you say long? Long. Complicated. Sometimes it's simple, but most of the time it's complicated. But it's a personal journey of change and development. Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. Give yourself a gift. Put your hand on yourself and say, I give myself a gift. I give myself a gift. I forgive everyone. That may have harmed me. Physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Even if they don't ask me to. Be notorious. Have a reputation. Go up to them and say, I forgive you. And they may say, well, I didn't ask you to. It's not necessary. It's a gift. Take that. I forgive you without you requesting it. Without your apology. Whether it was premeditated or accidental, I still forgive you because I need to grow. I need my help. I do not need to let anyone have enough power to keep me out of hell. I take my power back. You have no power over me. How many of you have ever buried someone that you love? Show of hands. Journey on. How many of you have ever gone through heartbreak? Journey on. How many of you have ever experienced an unwanted divorce? Journey on. How many of you have ever lost a dream? What you dreamed of doing all your life? Maybe you dreamed of dancing, and because of an injury you won't be able to dance. You dreamed of writing, and a number of things. You've lost your dreams. Raise your hand. Journey on. How many of you have ever lost a home through bankruptcy, foreclosure, whatever reason? You lost a home. Wave those hands. I say to you, journey on. How many of you have ever lost a job? Either you were laid off or fired. Come on, help me with this, ladies. Look at those people and say, journey on. Journey on. How many of you have ever lost an opportunity that you can't get back again? Look at them again. Say, journey on. Journey on. If your hand is up, tell yourself. Pat yourself with the other hand and say, journey on. Journey on. As a matter of fact, say, I command you, to journey on. Journey on. You do not have my permission to quit. You do not have my permission to quit. How many of you have you ever lost money in the stock market or through gambling or on drugs, but a loss of funds? Show of hands. Journey on. You know what to say. How many of you ever suffered the loss of credit and had to rebuild your credit? Look around you. Help me, ladies. Open that mouth. Say to them what? Journey on. The journey doesn't end here. My son went through a loss of credit, through bad divorce, and for 7 years he was in Atlanta just struggling until it broke my heart for him to struggle. And the Lord spoke to me and said, sometimes struggle is my will. And I said, what? I responded to him like, what'd you say? And he said, sometimes struggle is my will. And I thought, I know that song from somewhere. I had Devin to call Destiny, and I said, sing that to me. And they sung it. You're next in line for a miracle. Tell them, journey on. Journey on. Because you're next in line for a miracle. Spiritual. It could be a spiritual miracle, an emotional miracle, a financial miracle. Overnight, God can make you rich. Journey on.
Loss of life, loss of pets, loss of opportunity, loss of dreams, loss of homes, loss of job, divorce. Anything that you have lost is worthy of grief. Dr-Vernette-Rosier's newest book, Journey On, is a tool that will help you do the work necessary to grieve in a healthy manner. The book will be released December 2017, but you can pre-order today. If you pre-order today, we will immediately send you the Journey On drop card, which includes the 4-part Journey On series, plus a 2-chapter preview of the Journey On book. For your gift of $75 or more, you will receive the Journey On drop card, plus a God of My Dreams t-shirt, journal, and mug. Don't avoid pain. Do the grief work and use this book to help you do the work necessary to grieve in a healthy manner. To place your order, visit our website, vyrosierministries.org, or you can contact us via phone at 810-DREAM-08. Thank you for supporting Let the Prophet Speak and helping us reach the nations.
In
How many of you have ever suffered from some type of trauma? Trauma. Journey on. How many of you have had or dealt with, I had a family member dealt with post-traumatic stress syndrome? Journey on. How many of you have had loss of health or mobility? Keep those hands up. A loss of health is something to be reckoned with. A mobility. I'll try not to preach on that part. Keep those hands up. In January, when I broke my foot and sprained my other ankle and had to be in a wheelchair and had to have a party chair next to my bed and needed help getting in and out, I had extreme compassion. I thought I was a compassionate person, but I shifted to another level. To this day, every time I see someone in a wheelchair, Pastor Chloe and I were coming down, and we held the door. A lady was in a wheelchair. She said, "There's no room." We didn't command the people in the elevator to make room. We just backed up against them until they had no other choice. We were determined. Oh, this lady's getting in here. If you've ever been through something and you survived it and you're stronger because of it, everything in you makes you reach to help somebody else to come through. Say, journey on. Journey on. How many of you have lost a friend due to circumstances beyond your control, either through betrayal or you were just simply clueless? They left you and you couldn't get them back, but you're still grieving over the loss of that friend. Now, whether you admit it or not, it's grief, and they're worthy of the grief so that you heal properly. Friends. All right, wave at that friend across the room and say, journey on. Journey on. Look at another person that you're just naming them and claiming them as a friend and say, journey on. Say, I claim you. Journey on. You are now my friend. You've been drafted. You've been drafted. How many of you have ever lost something due to a natural disaster? A hurricane, tornado, tsunami. You had someone, you lost everything. Put your right hand out and wave toward that person and say, journey on. Journey on. It's not over. It's not over. It's a journey. It's a journey. It's not a sprint. It's not a sprint. It's a journey. It's a journey. It's not the 50-yard dash. It's not the 50-yard dash. It's a journey. It's a journey. We command you, to journey on. To journey on. So until you journey through all of those things at age 13, I think it was, our house burned down in Havana, Florida, and I'd already gone through horrendous things. I buried my father at age 4. I buried my mother at age 10, my biological mother. I buried my baby brother when I was 6 years old. I buried my best friend by the time I was 11 or 12. I went through horrendous heartbreak at 15. I thought I would die of heartbreak and a heart attack because I wanted to marry this guy, and we had planned to run away and get married, and my grandmother sabotaged me. She wouldn't go to sleep. Finally came and knocked on the room door and said, look, go get that suitcase from under that house and call that in and tell him you're not going anywhere. And I went, did just what she said, because my grandmother was a powerful intercessor, praying woman. Did just what she said without question. And it wasn't a month later, 2 months later, I'd gone on vacation to Miami, came back home, and a guy that was my boyfriend's friend picked me up from the bus station and said, can I just stop by this house a minute? And when he stopped by the house, I said, sure. He's giving me a ride home, and because mother knew him and probably had sent him, I thought, I can wait. And when we stopped at the house, he said, get out a minute. I got out, and when I walked in the house, the guy that I planned to marry, the first guy that I'd ever fallen in love with, that I'd given my virginity to, and I planned to marry him. And I saw my girlfriend sitting in his lap, and she had been my best friend since 5th grade. She was sitting in his lap, not just sitting in his lap, the way they were positioned, she had her arms around him, and when I walked through the door, she turned and put her lips to his lips, which gave me a strong signal something else is going on here. And she or he announced to me, I remember going into shock, and it just didn't, this memory of it didn't wake up completely until I was working on this book. One of them said to me, we got married while you were in Miami.
Whoa. Whoa.
And another one said, I don't know whether it was him or her, and I'm pregnant with this baby. And I remember walking out of that house, and I remember days of laying down and couldn't sleep, and my grandmother coming in and laying hands on me. I remember couldn't eat, and my grandmother laying hands on me and praying for me. And that happened to me in 9th grade. I didn't recover from that until I was a freshman in college. And I remember walking out of a store and seeing a light. I saw a hand reach up, just this part of the hand, reach up, and it pulled one of those strings. How many of you, I'm just telling on myself now, country people, that you know those lights that you got to reach and pull the string? Put your hand up so the rest of these little silly people don't try to make us feel bad. And you had to pull that string to turn the light off. I saw a hand pull the string, and the light came on. And when the light came on, I said to myself out loud, my heart's not broken anymore. God had healed my heart. But that was a journey. It was not until my freshman year in college that I recovered from the heartbreak. Now, backing up to go forward, when I alluded to the fact that in 2016, I went to Austin to do the nuptials for Suzette and her husband. And when that incident happened in the airport, and I just started crying and didn't even know I was crying, when I flew home after those 7 days of rest, I had contacted a therapist. I believe in therapists. I believe in doctors. I believe that the only person that does not go to a therapist doesn't have enough sense to go. And someone need to Baker act it. If you break your arm, you go to the doctor. Why wouldn't you go to the doctor and let him put a cast on it? So to prevent breaking your mind, or in case your mind breaks without your permission, you need a therapist. Therapists, counselors, I believe in them. Luke was a physician. Jesus was not against medical professionals. But the therapist said something to me that helped me to complete the book. When I visited her office after the 7 days of rest, and she said, I haven't seen you in 10 years. What brought you here? I said to her, I described the incident that happened in Boston Airport. And I said, what is wrong? She said, let me take a little medical history. And she went through my family history, and then she, after filling in all of those gaps or things that happened with the family physically, she asked me something that shocked me, gave me an epiphany, and completed the journey that I'd started in that segment of my life. She said, have you ever buried anybody? Anybody in the family? Have you ever had to loss of life? They died? And I said, oh, absolutely. She said, really, who? And I went through the whole thing, age 4 ages, and she backed up and said, what did you do when your baby brother died? I said, I don't remember. She said, you don't remember? I said, no. She said, do you remember the funeral? I realized for the first time I didn't remember the funeral. She said, do you remember what you had on? I said, no. Do you remember what the weather was like that day? No. So she said, well, let's move on. When your father died, do you remember? I don't remember the funeral. I don't remember going. I don't remember the outfit. I said, I'm sure we had to go. She said, where was he buried? I said, I had no idea. Wow. She said, all right, well, your mother. Do you remember her funeral? You know, where were you when she passed? The circumstances surrounding, both of them died of cancer, so I'm sure you had to visit them. I had zero memory of it. She paused, put her pen down, and she said, you've never grieved. I said, how is that possible? I've buried so many people in my life, including a best friend. Every 2 to 3 years, I was burying somebody close to me that I love and needed the most. She said, just because you buried them does not mean you grieved. You have failed to grieve. Running from the pain, she said, what did you do? I said, I kept it moving. I ministered to someone. I got on a plane. I was in college. I was raising 4 children. I was working on my marriage. So I didn't take time to do it. I didn't know you needed to take time. When someone mentioned going out to the cemetery to visit them, I said, what? Why do I need to go back? I left them there. I'm not trying to pick them up to come back with me. And I mean, really, that was my attitude toward it. Put flowers on the grave. Why? They're not getting up to see them. So it's throwing away my money. Why would I do that? That was my morbid attitude toward that. I said, no, it is not necessary. She said, that's a part of the ritual. And I started doing my research. She said, did you have perhaps a wake in the open casket? Finally, she said to me, well, I want to do this with you. What funeral do you remember? And at wasn't until she asked that question I started smelling flowers. And I immediately said, And when I said, the funeral appeared in front of me. And I was standing at this funeral, and my older sister was crying on one shoulder, my younger sister was crying on the other shoulder. I looked at my grandmother, who was now deceased, and my baby brother, who was the baby then and forever, was sitting on her lap. But at age 10, that would have made my brother 6. He was sitting on my grandmother's lap and crying on her shoulder, and I made a conscious decision. Say subconscious memories.
Subconscious memories.
God has to wake them up.
God has to wake them up.
Dig them up.
Dig them up.
So you're not walking around with a corpse on the inside of you. When I said that, I didn't remember until I said it to the therapist. I made a decision. I can't cry because this is too much for my grandmother. My grandfather's already passed. Both my parents have passed. And if Gloria's crying, Jeanette's crying, and Nana's crying, somebody needs to be strong so mothers are not overwhelmed. And I made a decision not to cry and make them all right. And after I made that decision, one of them said to me, don't cry, I can't handle it. And I didn't cry. And didn't cry again until I was standing in that Boston airport. Wow. At age 61. And I was 10 when I made that vow.
Jesus. Wow.
And by making that vow, it prevented me from grieving. It prevented me from going through the process. She said, now the incident in the Boston airport is an indicator that you're actually on the verge of a nervous breakdown. You're going to have to start addressing your losses.
Yes.
She said, in fact, I can see clearly what the trigger was. What happened just before you went to Boston? I said, my brother went back to the doctor, and my doctor said there's nothing else we can do, that the cancer spread to his brain, every part of his body, and his lymph nodes. He is leaving here. That was the trigger. And as a result of that trigger, my emotion said, not again.
Right.
We are not going to stifle our emotions. We're not going to bury them. We're not going to make everybody all right. We're going to see about the little girl. And my therapist said to me, you can come every week. But every week I'm going to check to see, have you taken care of the little girl? Because the little girl took care of everybody else all these years.
Yes.
And she said the bad thing, and then, the good thing, she changed it because her and her husband used to be pastors before she went into full-time practice. She said the good thing and bad thing is you're a pastor, so you still have to be strong for everybody else.
Yes. Wow.
And it makes you extremely compassionate. It is your greatest strength but greatest weakness, because quite often when you would like to cry and pass out, you're making sure everyone else is all right.
Yeah.
Now I want you to start grieving before he leaves here, so that you don't literally have to be committed because you have failed to grieve all these years. And it's going to be extremely hard grieving everybody at once.
Wow.
What you didn't do individually, now when it happens, you'll have to deal with all of it. And I started my research again. How do we handle this? How do we deal with this? Okay, God, I'm going to make sure if I have to do this, I'm going to get it right this time.
Loss of life, loss of pets, loss of opportunity, loss of dreams, loss of homes, loss of job, divorce. Anything that you have lost is worthy of grief. Dr-Vernette-Rosier's newest book, Journey On, is a tool that will help you do the work necessary to grieve in a healthy manner. The book will be released December 2017, but you can pre-order today. If you pre-order today, we will immediately send you the Journey On drop card, which includes the 4-part Journey On series, plus a 2-chapter preview of the Journey On book. For your gift of $75 or more, you will receive the Journey On drop card, plus a God of My Dreams t-shirt, journal, and mug. Don't avoid pain. Do the grief work and use this book to help you do the work necessary to grieve in a healthy manner. To place your order, visit our website, vyrosierministries.org, or you can contact us via phone at 810-DREAM-08. Thank you for supporting Let the Prophet Speak and helping us reach the nations.
Coming to your life, a new adventure, Pastor Leah, that's going to thrill you. I've feel like someone climbing a mountain and they're on a hiking trail and their backpack is filled with all kinds of things that they felt they needed for survival. You good? That I felt that they needed for survival, and you didn't need any of that because the Lord orchestrated the journey. He made some methodic, specific changes that you did not have a clue as to what he was doing. And at each level, he said, surprise. And you were so surprised. You were thrilled at what the Lord was doing. And I kept hearing him say, tell her, great adventures are ahead. Great adventures. It is going to whet your appetite and thrill you as a person. The kind of person you are. You'll be so excited about the adventure. So there won't be any boredom in that. You'll look and say, God, the rest is just gravy. He's taken the struggle out and put you on a new path and climbing that mountain. It looks like you're going up Mount Everest, but you're not short. You're not dealing with shortness of breath. You're not worrying about the temperature change. You have made up your mind to change your expectations, and that was your key to the new adventure.
Hallelujah. Thank you, God.